Stand up, Brad.
My name is Brad. I'm new to wholesaling and I'm here to learn how to make money.
Hey, my name is Didi. I want to focus on wholesaling. We own a few properties out of state, so eventually the goal is, to build a portfolio. It's just here to learn about the local market and how I can get started there.
Hey, I'm Vlada. I'm a wholesaler, primarily do creative deals all over the country. Looking for a flip, by the way, if anyone has something good, local to the Bergen County area. Yeah, here to hang out, meet people, just grow my business.
Hey, I'm Scott. I'm also a commercial and business broker in North and Central Jersey. Own a few businesses and deal with business on property. Without the cigars and the liquor, I guess I'm going to learn something about roasting.
The 26th, we have cigars, chicken, and light narcotics if you want to come.
Hey, where?
It's Leaf Cigar Lounge in the Milford. It's more adult discussion.
Hi, my name is Fernando. I'd like to thank all the ladies today for coming out here and support cheering the C4 program, Chuck and Lytton and everyone else in this room that came out today. Like I said, my name is Fernando. I'm a wholesaler. I'm just looking to stack up cash for now. But if I come across any decent single houses, I'm a buyer too.
I'm Damien, and I'm looking for someone to hold the phone. It's yours the rest of the night. I actually work with Evelyn, so I do transaction coordination, and I'm a buy and hold investor. I'm also a real estate agent. My primary market's in Philadelphia area. Of course, I do invest up here too. I live in Clifton. So what I'm looking for, just really deals, but mostly buy and hold, like mid to light rehab. I'll do like bigger rehabs in Philadelphia, but up here, mid to light rehab. So, all right, happy to see everybody.
Hi, my name is Luis. I'm a wholesaler. I'm also learning everything about real estate, so I'm here to network and learn.
The demo, name is Louis, the student.
Stand up, Emil.
Emil George, student, just like Louis, and been in the program 6 months, and lots been happening, so it's been great.
I probably don't actually need this, but I run a credit consulting business, and I also run a marketing business as well. So if you need business funding or even credit repair, definitely your guy.
Take a step up here for a second.
You guys know.
I've actually been pretty impressed with Jamal because he does credit restoration. You might reject a couple people because of bad credit, mortgages, stuff like that, when you're trying to get them pre-qualified.
Guys like him will never reject anyone, so.
No,
Yeah.
4 months ago, I had a $1.8 million bankruptcy on my credit, and he started telling me what I could do, so I just handed him a card, and he got it off, so.
Get it done.
Now I have a 795. And I can't wait to trash it again.
I'm here for it, but please
Make you work for it.
don't. But yes, I'm the credit guy. If you need any questions, credit assistance, I may not know every single card that's the best card to use. I only know the cards that I have.
Do you have a card?
Business card?
Yes.
I'm young, so I guess I have one, but it's on the phone. It's like a little
Yeah.
scan one.
And I'm old, but I know how to use that.
It works.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm an investor and I'm looking for my next deal.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Pat, and Jeannie and I are part of a women's real estate investing network. It's a nationwide network. There's about 4,000 women in the network. We learned everything, and I've tried my hand at virtual wholesaling, which I hated, and now I'm doing a flip, which I've wanted to do the whole time. So that's my first flip. But it's in Florida, so we're looking for something local. And again, I like that light to mid, fix, because the one I got is like.
My name is Jeannie Perkins, and like I said, I'm part of this larger network. I have a short-term rental in Arizona, and I'm looking to understand the Bergen County market, and looking to do something local there.
Hello, my name is Ebony. I'm actually now gonna get my real estate license. I'm interested in wholesaling. I'm willing to learn, just trying to gain knowledge and see where God's gonna take me with this. I'm so excited.
Amen.
Amen.
My name's Ariane, and I'm local real estate agent here in New Jersey. I'm also licensed in the state of New York. And I'm partnered with my boyfriend on, he's a general contractor, and we're not afraid of anything. We'll go anywhere in New Jersey, and we'll go out of the state for referrals only. Say your brother, your sister, your mother, family referrals, past clients. So we do a lot of fix and flips. We've been doing that for the last 15 years. And I'm looking to do some now for ourselves now that we have the team in place.
My name is
He's the chicken guy.
Thank you. I'm a wholesaler and I'm a C4 student. I'm here to network and grow my network.
And I sell
I
chicken.
like that.
And he's got the best USP, frying and buying. I'll come over with the chicken and we'll talk about it.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm a support student, and I'm looking to learn to get my first skill.
Hi, everybody. How we doing tonight?
Great.
So how we doing tonight?
Great.
Yeah, let's go. Woo! My name is Mike. I enjoy long walks on the beach, strawberry daiquiris, and unicorns. My favorite color is pink. But that's not important. What is important is that I am one of the success coordinators here at the C4 program. I'm privileged to work with like-minded individuals like you every day who are trying to find financial freedom. And I'm here to help you. So, yeah, that's it.
That's it, Victoria, boss.
Let's go.
Hey, you got anything else to say? We get ready to do it.
Get ready to it.
Get right.
You're ready.
Victoria, you're good. No, Victoria.
Go.
Let's go. Get up. Victoria.
Most of you I know. How's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what am I? I'm a creative financial specialist. Why does Chuck like me? Because I know where to hide the bodies that the underwriter won't find. I've been doing this now since 2012, so I've seen a couple of things and dealing with some of Chuck's people. I got very well versed very quickly on figuring out how to get things done. No doc loans, DSCR stuff, trying to structure loans, which a lot of people don't understand. You can't just bring a bag of cash to a closing when you're doing a mortgage.
How do you know that?
Well, you can. So if you're doing a mortgage, buddy, there's a difference. So we have to figure out how to do that. Sometimes we have to fix up credit, which is where Jamal comes in. Sometimes we have to get creative with fixing up taxes, amending taxes. If you are a self-employed person, your income for us is directly derived from your tax returns. So sometimes we have to fix that up. If you can't do anything with that at all, then we just go to a no-doc loan, which I've done a couple of them in here for some people, and I won't say who they are, but we got them closed. We did them as refinances, we did them as purchases, whatever anybody needs, that's what we do. If you guys are flipping houses and you have people coming in, you want to make sure that you have a good lender that they're dealing with. This way you can call them or text them at what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock?
I think we rendezvous at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah. So this way, figuring out how to get stuff done. One of the biggest problems is if you have a bad lender on the other side, it's going to tie up a fee for you guys. And what does that cost you? Time and money, right? Because time is money in this business. If you're flipping a house and you got to hold it for another 90 days, that's holding costs for you. So what do? We're a direct lender, so this way we can get all of our stuff done quickly up front we've actually cleared a file at 10 a.m. and closed it at 3 o'clock on the same day. This is important. If you have somebody that's coming in, we can do what we call a TBD underwrite, which is actually getting them underwritten with their offer to go in. You can close that in like 8 days, depending on how quickly the appraisal gets done and title and anything else. Generally, it's 14 days, which is pretty damn quick in this business. 203Ks, if you guys are looking to buy a house that needs some work, you can always do a 203K. You've got hard money lenders around too that people have dealt with before. So if you ever need anything, I'm here, I'm available. I'll be more than happy to explain things to you. Pick up my phone on the weekends, as you know that. So let's see if we can help you guys out. Anybody have any questions? Never know. 5% down, maybe people heard of that. You can buy a multifamily now with 5% down. That applies to owner-occupied residences. It used to be 15 to 30%. Yes, sir.
Is that on the investments, like investment properties?
Owner-occupied residence. You gotta live in it.
You gotta live in it.
Like,
Listen,
you gotta-
listen, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Somebody can always knock on the door and say, are you actually living here? So I don't know anything about that. Don't tell me that you're not gonna live in the house.
But all right, so if I come to you and my brain says the intent, but after anything else.
If your paperwork and your mouth tells me that you're gonna be living in this house, that's as far as I know. Now, if you choose not to live in it past the closing, because you're supposed to occupy within 60 days.
Okay.
Right? So that could be mortgage fraud, and it's not something you want to deal with.
I mean, we live on a gray scale, right?
Listen,
You should have told us stop the recording, by the
I'm gonna say this, right? I had a very good friend who was an underwriter, and he taught me all about the gray areas. So I know all about that stuff.
I'm okay with it, but as long as I have the intent, essentially.
The intent, as long as you don't own a house, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, well, I can just go buy another house, right? So you've heard of the 4-3-2-1,
Okay, yeah.
right? But it's very hard to go from a 4 to a 4 because the underwriter's looking at it saying, well, this is crap because you're trying to buy another house as an investor with 5% down or even FHA 3.5% down. So they look at this stuff.
What happens if I go up? Like, let's say if I have a 2 now, but I want to go up to a 3, is that like a red flag?
Yeah.
It's hard. Unless it's a better neighborhood.
So if you want to do it, there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more complex. Yes.
What's the time frame on that? Let's say I go and I get a 4 family. Do I gotta stay there for a year, 6 months before I get my next property, or how's that work?
Now, you're signing something saying that you're going to occupy for 12 months. Now, if you happen to move for a reason that you can explain, then that's a different story. But generally, they want you to hold it for 12.
5% down the same program, or I'm only entitled to one house with that?
No, you could do that again.
Okay.
Yeah. The FHA is very different. Yes.
Is that also for mixed use and then 5 units plus, or is that only 1 to 4?
5+ is all commercial. Mixed unit, you can do with FHA as long as it's 51% or more residential. It's very hard to do mixed use with conventional financing as an owner occupier. You know, a lot of people go mixed use with like DSCR stuff or things like that. They're usually commercial, or even SBA financing for stuff like that too.
Quick question, because I've always heard like this DSCR thing. How much money do you need for that, essentially? Like, are you using something else as collateral?
So
like,
DSCR loans stand for debt service coverage ratio, right? So it's essentially a no-doc loan, right? We don't need W-2s, we don't need any taxes. It's purely based on the rental income of the property that you're buying, right? So they generally look for a 1 or more. So as long as the rent covers the mortgage payment, you're good to go, right? And if you're buying, there's only 4 things that we need. Driver's license, LLC docs, 1-month bank statement, that's all they want, right? And they will take gifts. And a mortgage statement, this way we can verify your mortgage history on any houses that you own. That's it. Yeah. So, and they can be closed in the LLC. So you can, yeah, a lot of times people don't realize conventional loans, you cannot close in an LLC, right? Yes, it might be a little bit better of a rate, but in all honesty, they're gonna put you through the ringer. Like, I call mortgages financial colonoscopies. That's what they are. They're gonna look at you inside and out. Yes.
All right, so I got a question. A bunch of these guys are buying properties below market value, and I want to hold on to a lot of them. And I got the properties cheap, and I got the cash, but a lot of our credit is maxed out. So can you just pre-qualify a fuck ton of people for us tonight as like credit partners?
Whatever you want, buddy.
apply in the back.
So if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you. So DSCR stuff is a great way to go. A lot of times people don't understand. They think, oh, I'm gonna go to conventional, I'm gonna go to a bank. Why do you wanna complicate yourself? Like, these can be closed in literally 2 weeks. And it's a business purpose loan. So we can clear the file, we can lock the file, we can close the file. It doesn't follow TRID guidelines. So you don't have the 3-day right of rescission, you don't have to issue a CD for 3 days. None of that stuff applies. Yes?
A lot of us here buy in land trusts. Is that something you lend to or have any issues with?
So we don't have an issue with buying, with you talking about like buying a property in a trust?
Buying property in a trust, right?
Yeah, you can do that. They get a little funky with irrevocable trusts. So that's where you want to kind of get a little you gotta be a little careful with irrevocables.
Yeah, we use revocable.
Yeah. Revocables are fine because you're buying in the trust. It all depends on who your beneficiary is inside the trust too. Yes.
There's a question on the live here. It says, what if the property is vacant? Can you use projected rents after stabilizing?
Absolutely. So the DSCR loan is not tied to the rents that are on the property now. The appraisal is going to dictate the rents that we're going to use. So we don't care about the current renters in there when you're buying a property in a DSCR. Now, if you own a property and you want to refinance in a DSCR, which you can, like a lot of people, what they do is they'll buy in cash, right? Cash is great, but it ties up your money in a house. Think of it like a cement piggy bank, right? You deposit all your money in there, you can't get it out. The only way to do it is to break the piggy bank. It's the same thing with cashing out on a house. So if you own a property, you buy it in cash to lock it up, you can actually cash out immediately up to 75% of the purchase price of the house. Or I have a lender that'll actually do 3 months after on the appraised value, holding it for 3 months.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really sweet.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They also changed the guidelines for Fannie Mae and Freddie. It's now 12 months for cash out, not 6. So a lot of investors used to buy conventional financing and then cash out at 6. Can't do that anymore. Now they changed it to follow FHA guidelines.
What are you doing on the 26th?
What's that?
What are you doing on Monday the 26th?
All right.
You're setting up a booth at the cigar lounge for pre-qualified people. All right, give him a round of applause.
Do you qualify nationwide for
What's that?
buyers?
Yes.
Yeah, nationwide?
Yes.
Okay.
If it needs anything, that's what we do.
All right, you guys ready to get the show on the road?
Woo!
All right. Give the panelists a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. We supplied them with 4 questions in advance. We're going to go through those, and we're going to take questions from the audience. But on the eve of my 3rd divorce, I'm going to add a, yeah, it's messing up. Do I need this thing? Fix it. We can hear you. Yeah. All right, on the eve of my 3rd divorce, I'm going to add a 5th question. Do you ladies believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by again?
Walk on that. Not that it looks like a shirt, no.
On top of the file. All right, so the first thing I'm going to want you guys to do is just give a little background on yourselves to everybody here. Just maybe take 5 minutes and explain where you came from, how you got started in real estate. Holly, take it away.
Sure. So my name is Holly Fagan. I was based out of Jersey City, New Jersey. And I pretty much started real estate just because I was always interested in passive income. I always wanted more money than my W-2 job can actually pay me. So basically how I really got into real estate was doing a business. I bought a rental conventionally, and then I was like, oh, 20% down. That's a lot of money for property. And then actually, it's kind of random. And I'll say this too, because there's actually a tied-in story. Like, my father actually passed away in 2017 in March. And it's fun, I got a thing in the mail that said, oh, come to this event. It's free for real estate and figure out how to buy properties in real estate. So I attended it, and it was actually on his birthday, which is funny. And then I was like, okay, I'm going. And then they explained the concept of hard money. So once I started to understand hard money, I did pay for a little bit of education, because you shouldn't pay for the whole $20,000 guru teacher. you do need some education, I will say that, like you should pay for some education to get grounded. But I did that, and then I went to every networking event that I could find, and I partnered with people. Everything I've done up until today has been just from networking events. My lawyer, accountant, partners in real estate, flipping, everything has all just been from networking. So that's literally how I started, and I networked just with people like you. I found wholesalers, I'm on wholesaling lists. That's actually how I buy a lot of my properties, just from wholesalers, because I don't personally do wholesaling. So I'm always connecting with wholesalers just to buy properties. And from there, like I've just grown into larger, so I do fix and flips. I have a couple of rentals as well. I'm also invested out of state I used to run monthly events as well, teach people how to invest in real estate. And that's more on the syndication side, the apartment investing. So I am invested in a 42 unit in Ohio. It's a ground up development, so I do a little bit of that. And I also do coaching. And not necessarily just real estate coaching, more like any industry, just business coaching, like for entrepreneurs. It's basically acting as a soundboard and challenges people have, talking them through what they're going through in their businesses and getting them over the hurdle to where they want to be. And that all kind of developed from just running my events. I would just put together like simple PowerPoints, and people were like, "Oh, do you ever consider coaching?" And I was like, you know what? I've always been interested in how people think, and like just they come to me with their problems, and I like helping people. So it was a good fit, and that's kind of where I am right now, just building that business. And I still have I have a flip going on right now down in Tom River. I have my rentals still, so still in that game as well, just trying to sell things and then eventually maybe scale up and buy something larger.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Garcia, and my journey started in March 2018 when I decided to go bungee jumping in Costa Rica. I was up there by myself. No one was with me, just the instructor. So taking that leap it just gave me so much power and that I could do anything. Then a couple of months later, maybe August, I saw an ad in social media for a free event. But I decided to be that stupid person and pay $35,000 for it. But yeah, it was $35,000. So I regret the cost, but I don't regret joining because joining the real estate game really changed my life. So I just went with that on my shoulder of how much I spent on the educational program. It just put a fire more than bungee jumping actually. Bungee jumping was exciting. But so that was, I joined, it was September, so I started my company in October 2018. I was like, oh great, I'm gonna be the best flipper in New York City. And I started doing acquisitions in New York City, started putting my flyers in Brooklyn, and I was just not feeling it. So I decided to come to New Jersey, and I was in an event, and I met this fantastic man, and I fell in love.
Sorry about that.
Love at first sight. So I mean, like, he just he saw like I was just like this hopeless person, trying to figure it out, and just like I need someone to just locally, because that mentorship was more nationally, and there was no meetups. It was just so blah. And so I did a whole bunch of cohort. He gave me like this list of course, and I don't know how your course is running now. Like I hear so many fantastic things about it. So yeah. So
It's not as brutal as what we put you through, and we made Holly knock on doors.
Well, I was a big fan of door knocking. I used to love that. Yeah, I have like tons of stories in that. Like, one of my favorite guys got actually attacked with door knocking, so just be careful. When you go door knocking, step back when you knock on that door. Anyway, so we put a couple houses under contract, and then just COVID hit, and then everything just went down. But then I got my first flip, right it started March. I closed my first flip in June. So it was like the beginning of the COVID. And it was in Queens. So I did my first flip in Queens. It was almost a full two gut. It had violations, it had everything, but just like I did that bungee jump, I just jumped right into it and I flipped it. That I joined another course with my partner. And that course actually, the community, is nationwide, but it's so much better than that first educational course that I joined. And I found what I actually love, because acquisition is not easy. It's extremely difficult. You need to be consistent. You need to be taking massive action to actually get to where you want to go to. But now I own my company, Angle ITC, and it's a nationwide creative transaction coordination company. We close deals for investors from California to New York. I think we almost like we're halfway through the states of helping people close their deals, and it's a lot of work, but it's been just fantastic helping other investors close their deals. Yeah, that's my journey. There's a lot in between, and he knows a lot in between.
Can I call you out on one little?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I did go through, so, I went through a lot of hardship because I went into this crazy, I went into crazy debt because I just put everything, I left my apartment. From that apartment, I went to, roommates. From roommates, I went to a storage unit. I lived for a storage unit for about a year. Just trying to make it happen. And you just have to be so strong and just have that grit and just keep going.
Wow, what a powerful story. I started at 21. I was working a 9 to 5, making $32,000 a year, and someone passed by my desk and said, "You seem like a smart girl. There's a program in Jersey City where you live where you work and the government is giving you money to purchase a house." And I want you guys to write this down, because I used to be someone that thought I could never own a home. Single mom, 21, $32,000 a year. And there was a program called New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. Purchased my first condo under $100,000 in Jersey City Heights. The property is now valued at $475. We talk about the Burr method, it's like, wow. And right now I do commercial residential financing for first-time home buyers and investors, but what I realized is you don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to purchase your first property or your subsequent property, your third property or your fourth property. What it really comes down to, the common denominator, is just education. It's education, just asking the right questions, being in the right spaces. So now I'm just passionate about educating and teaching the average person, whether you own 5 properties, 10 properties, 15 properties, or 0 properties. How do you get into your first property? There are programs that exist that can help the first-time home buyer, programs like NJHMFA and the Chinoa Fund, and our own. So I work for a bank, Cardinal Financial's down payment assistance program. There's so many programs that will allow you to get into your first property and house hack. I've heard a lot of people in the room today say they're wholesalers and investors. So I also run an investor list in Northern New Jersey. If you're looking for off-market listings, please connect with me. I'd love to add you to the list. If you're a wholesaler with off-market listings, please connect with me as well. But really, I'm also on Instagram. You guys can see the back, Lorena, Vicky. I post educational videos at least once or twice a week, educating the average person, the average buyer, on how to house hack and get into their first property with little or no down payment. So happy to be here.
So should we go back the other way then?
I wanna say one thing. It's a little bit of a mindset thing. When I joined that program and I put all my money into it, and they had coaching and one-on-one coaching, and I told the lady, I was like, "Oh my God, this is gonna make me homeless." And they actually did. And she was like, oh, don't say that, because you know, it could really happen. I was like, ah, you're crazy, I'm just talking out of my head. So keep your mind super positive. Just if you want this, it will happen, but just keep positive.
Absolutely. Everyone and I were comparing battle scars one time, and I told her how losing $5 million was one of the best experiences of my life. It was absolutely free. I got to cut all the shit out. So let's project a little bit into the future. You guys want to go in reverse order? How you want to take it off again? Tell us a little bit about where you're going to go with your investing careers. Give us like long-term goal, timeline. Show these people how to set goals, because I know you can. I've watched you do it.
I mean, for me, like I said, I had a lot of investments and fix and flips. I was always more of like a renovation to rental person, but then I kind of got sidetracked and I did flips. I started partnering with people with flips, and that has to do with just focusing, right? If you follow the shiny object, you're gonna like fail, and you're gonna have like a bunch of like different things that you're doing. You need to understand what your niche is and focus on it. I wouldn't, like people, like if you're thinking about Airbnb, it sounds like a rental, but it's not. It's a whole different, like you have to analyze deals differently. So for me, I started to lose my focus and do fix and flips. Right now, I'm going to go back to renovation to rental, but I'm going to scale that. And I want to, like I said, I want to do a personal like 6 to 10 unit building of my own, and that's going to be my passive income. And then I'm going to further grow my coaching business, which I already have coaching students already, but I'm going to expand that because I'm going to start running retreats. I'm also in the process of doing a book as well and creating courses. So I'm really just genuinely like helping people too. So if I can do that and kind of grow this with the knowledge that I have and help people, that's really kind of where I want to be, is like just my full-time job realistically. And also, I still do have my W-2 job. So it is possible to do this if you have a W-2 job. I do work from home, so it's very flexible. But just letting you guys know out there, because I know some of you said that they had full-time jobs too. It is possible to do that.
So with my company, ITC, I definitely want to grow it and become the national largest transaction coordination company. That's the direction that I'm heading there. I just love helping people and just being a leader with just people that are just trying to figure out how to be in real estate. I always had like a team with me. I've always been a team leader. I always like to keep, positive, everyone in a positive mood and moving. So I definitely want to grow that, and also just take the fear out of buyers, especially with subject to transaction. It's really not that difficult. It's just surprising how people make it so difficult, but I guess it's just like after my 100 transaction, right? It's easy for me, but it's just like I just want to make it easier for other investors out there and just educate everyone just to make their investment easier. You don't need that much money to buy homes. Also, I would love to grow my portfolio. And if I could flip a house, I would do it, but it just has to be close to me. I'm just not one of those people that just like that courageous of doing a flip in another state. Like I hear so many people doing that, and it's just like I find that crazy. So I would like to flip, but it has to be something super close to me. Maybe nothing like a half an hour distance that I can just drive to. And that's about it. I just want to grow my company and help other investors.
So I'm very fortunate. That's been going on 5 years that I've been in the mortgage industry, and just learning about all the freaking loopholes that exist when it comes to financing deals has blown my mind and opened up the opportunities. I think now it's just a matter of using what's out there. And I know the gentleman earlier mentioned DSCR loans, man. I was so mind blown when I learned about debt service coverage ratio loans, because I had no idea, like, what? Why isn't anyone talking about this, right? Debt service coverage ratio loans for those that are 1099 independent contractors, real estate agents, seasonal workers, you're just side hustling and collecting cash and you're not reporting anything, look into DSCR loans, right? Because I'm leveraging this loan myself to grow my real estate portfolio. Now, the difference is, okay, Vicki, why would you go DSCR over conventional Fannie Freddie if, why is it that DSCR? Well, yes, when you go Fannie Freddie, you're putting down a much lower down payment, like anywhere from 3 to 5% down payment. You have to call it your primary residence, and the interest rates are going to be a lot lower than the DSCRs. A Fannie or Freddie loan can be anywhere from like 6.5 to 7%, depending on where you are with your credit score. With the DSCRs, you're not showing income at all, no W-2s, no tax returns, none of that. The bank uses the property as a qualifying factor, right? Does the rental income equal to or is greater than the monthly mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? And as long as it's yes, the bank will lend on it, you're gonna be required to put down 20%, but it's all done under your LLC. So I think main focus for me right now is leveraging these programs in order to continue to grow my real estate portfolio. 2 years ago, I thought it was not possible to purchase an out-of-state Airbnb property. I did it. And I did it because I found out about a second home loan program that existed that said if I wanted to buy an out-of-state property and call it my quote-unquote vacation home loan, I can do that as long as I quote-unquote live in the property 180 days out of the calendar year. I went to Orlando, Florida, connected with the realtor, saw a beautiful 4-bedroom, 4-bath property, and I financed it through a second home loan at 10% down payments. I enjoy it with my family and I Airbnb it, so I think it's really just a matter of educating yourself on, and it's as simple as it sounds, it really is that simple. Educating yourself on the loan programs that exist and just leveraging the heck out of them in order to keep growing your real estate portfolio. I promise you, when I tell you from experience and all ladies in this panel, you don't need a lot of thousands and thousands of dollars to purchase properties. Whether you're calling them your primary, your second, your vacation home, or your fix and flip property, or your buy and hold, you do not need thousands and thousands. And you do need access to capital, you do, but you don't have to have all the answers. Work on your credit. You got the credit guy back there, work on your credit, and everything else is just a matter of getting creative.
Yeah. I can help you guys with
Yeah.
that gap between the funding, with 0% interest funding and stuff like that.
Amazing.
What was that program that you
Amazing.
mentioned earlier?
Which program?
The mortgage loan?
Oh, it's just like, it's a second home loan. It's 10% down payment. I think minimum, it has to be 50 miles from your primary residence. And you have to occupy it 180 days out of the calendar year. And
The one that allowed you to purchase your first condo.
oh, New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency, NJHMFA. Most counties, they're giving you 10,000 in grants. I think for Hudson, Essex, and Union, if they're 15,000 plus another 7,000 if you're first generation. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Yeah. New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency, NJHMFA. So it's 50,000, covers your down payment and part of your closing costs, and then I want to say another like 7,000 if you're a first generation, first time home buyer.
I think it's 22.5.
22.5 altogether.
The only caveat to it is you just have to hold it for 5 years. If you refinance it or sell it, you have to pay the whole thing back.
Well, that's a lot of the caveats with down payment assistance, is they get you on the refinancing, but it's a great way to get into the door.
Absolutely.
Great way to buy your first property.
Does that only work with your first property?
Yes. So first time home buyer means you haven't owned a house.
So I don't know, in your opinion, what would be the best type of home for somebody who doesn't own anything?
So I mean, just speaking from experience, a multifamily, you could go Fannie at 5%, and you can buy up to 4 units. It doesn't need to pass the self-sufficiency test that FHA has, but also, I did one of my properties, financed FHA and just house hack, live in 1 unit, let the tenants pay for the mortgage. So just my opinion, multifamilies are a great way to go for your first property.
All right. Are you guys ready for horror stories? Someone has a question? You want to save it for the end, or are we getting some scary shit?
I can throw in my horror stories. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, I'm talking to a prospect, all right, and the topic of tiny homes came up. So I don't know if you dealt with that, do you know anything about it in New Jersey, regulations, lending out? You know,
Tiny homes, I haven't.
accessory dwelling.
No.
ADUs?
ADUs.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I'm not sure if you can comment on that, tiny homes, I haven't been
So are they putting it on, are they gonna buy a piece of land and put it on it? Like, you gotta give us a little bit more.
It's in discussion, but I'm trying to see what's actually happening now,
Because
especially with regulation.
the issue that you have is when you have like a manufactured home, right, you run into some problems. You can do it depending on when it was built, how it's on the land, if it's leased, because then it turns into something called a chattel loan. Like if you've ever been out to the Poconos, you see all those houses around the lake, those have to be bought with what's called chattel homes because they're not full-time houses for people. So plus on top of that, if you're below like 75 grand, most lenders won't touch it to begin with because it's too small because of the fees. You just like residential loans, we have a ton of compliance stuff.
So, I don't know if you're talking about mobile homes, I don't know.
Well, a tiny home is similar to the same thing because it was a manufactured house in a sense. It's not a manufactured house where it doesn't have like the tag and the VIN number, but it's more like a modular. You can actually do modular with a FHA. We call it one-time closed construction, something like that. So you can actually do that. Just like you can do FHA, conventional, VA, or USDA. If you're going to buy a piece of land and build a house on there, you can do the same thing. You can't build a multi, but you can build a house.
I'm thinking with the housing, what's going to happen or all that.
Well, I think I just saw one on Amazon for like 20 grand. You ain't getting a loan for that. And that's where a lot of people run into problems when they're investing in the Midwest. They buy these houses for like 40 grand, and it's like, what do? You know, you gotta put them into like a blanket portfolio type thing. You know? Stuff like that. Now, if you guys wanna take house hacking to another level, my suggestion, find a multifamily house that's got a basement that you can finish in and live in it yourself. Or if it has a garage where you can actually build an apartment right above the garage, now you can do that. Because if you're gonna buy a house and actually rent out the basement, most towns won't allow that. And I learned this at one of the meetup events. Because if they report you, you actually have to give back all the rent that you collected in some of these towns.
Yeah,
right?
that's that.
Yeah. I was mind blown when I heard that one. I was like, holy crap.
So that leads me into my horror story. I purchased a multifamily financed FHA in Bayonne. And at the time, I wasn't living in it, and neighbors reported me to the city. So fire inspection came in, the inspector came in and they gave me, I wanna say 24 to 48 hours to evacuate the tenants, everything in there, kitchen. And so I had to cover all the expenses, move out expenses, return the deposit. So you do take a risk, you do, it is a risk. It's not a legal basement. There is the risk that someone may report you, the tenant may report you. But yeah, it was definitely a learning experience for me.
Now, if you live in it, it's your house. A little different. Plus two, when you're buying a house that's a single family house and it has a second kitchen in there, you best want to take the stove out before that appraisal comes in, because you can't have another second kitchen in a house. It's a one family house. We actually had that. We were doing a refinance. They had a house, the kitchen was upstairs. They had one of the islands with a stove in the top of it. They had to take it out and actually put a piece of plywood on it in order to be able to pass. Yeah, we had another one where they were doing FHA and there was no stove in the house. It was an REO property. I always look for the blue tape when I look at listings for people when they're putting offers. Because I don't know if you know this, but you cannot buy a house with FHA if the utilities are off. So that's another issue. We actually had them put in a stove before the appraisal to make sure that we didn't have any problems. So it's when you're working with people that have been doing this for a while, we kind of pick up on some of this stuff. So that's why it's important to kind of know the little things. But house hacking, live in the basement if you can, finish it off if that's the case, and then rent out the rest. Now you're collecting 100% of the rents, and you're okay because you're still fulfilling your owner occupancy part of it. Like what she was talking about with the 5% down, you have to live in the house. If you're going to buy an investment property, you're 20% down at a minimum. There are some lenders that will do 15% down on a DSCR, but now you're gonna pay a higher rate and you're gonna pay higher points to do the 15% down. It's better for you to do 20. So if you're gonna live in it, go conventional, 5% down. Like she said, FHA has a self-sufficiency issue sometimes. So what you do is you take all the rents in the house, and it's only on 3s and 4s, by the way, not on 2. You take all the rents, add them up, multiply by 0.75, your mortgage payment has to be equal to or less than that payment. Otherwise, you have to do a couple of different things. Lower the price of the house, put a lot more money down, because it's not a direct correlation. Get a cheaper homeowners insurance or buy your rate down. Otherwise, you ain't buying that house with FHA, you're gonna have to go conventional.
I move into the basement.
I told you everyone moves to the basement. I just told you.
Horror story.
Horror stories, not so many, but I'm gonna keep with transaction coordination.
Stephen King it up first.
One thing that I have learned from my journey, especially in doing TC work, is buyers are liars, but sellers are worse. So many transactions doesn't go through because you just never know what you find in the title search. Not even the title search, I'm going through this right now with one of the properties. We needed to get an inspection. It's the property's in Pennsylvania. They do dye tests in Pennsylvania, and the seller's like, no problem. We had to spend $5,000 just to fix the sewage, and then that was not all. So today I found out that she has citations, and everybody knows when you get citations. Like, why didn't you tell us? So we have to pay the citations. And the thing is that the buyer that is actually buying the property already started fixing stuff up in the property. I'm like, why are you doing this? Do not do any work or anything until you get the keys. It's just final close. I know they say to celebrate all your wins, but when you have a property under contract, great, great, you got one. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna get to the closing. Just wait until you get your keys to start celebrating with everyone. Because there's so many things happen. We found like $250,000 judgments, untitled, whole bunch of stuff. Like, it's just crazy.
And I guess for mine, it's kind of the same. It's like, what do you want to hear about? I got a story. I guess one of them was kind of similar. Like, I was threatened from my insurance company one day for one of my rentals. They came down and they were like, oh, you have a pool in the backyard. You lied to us. We're going to cut your insurance. And I was like, I don't have a pool in my backyard. And then they're like, no, this is your rental company. I'm like, all right, your rental address. So I go down to it, and they built a pool in the backyard. So I was like, okay, are you insane? Like, this is why the water bill is crazy. So I had to make them knock that down. In addition to, there was a leak in the bathroom upstairs. So I went, this is a 2-family, so the top floor has a balcony, and the bathroom window looks out onto the balcony towards the yard. So I'm looking through the window, and I see a bed. I'm like, why is there a bed? So I turn around and I open the door. They enclosed the outdoor balcony and made it a bedroom with like sheetrock and put literally an end table and a bed. And the sheetrock started molding from the rain that was coming in. I was like, are you guys crazy? Like, that could have been a huge lawsuit if, God forbid, someone froze to death because there was no insulation. And they were literally on planked like balcony, like it was wooden. So that, I learned that I had to now put in my lease that you are not to use the second floor balcony as a bedroom. It's just another thing to throw in. So if you're not thinking of that, you gotta make sure you put that in your leases nowadays. But that was one of them. One of my leases.
Anybody got any other horror stories?
Remember when I remember when I was working with Chuck and door knocking.
Sorry about that.
And it's not you. I don't know if you might remember, there was a lady, I did Bloomfield, so I would knock on doors all the time in Bloomfield. And there was one lady who was she always had the cops coming to the house, And she had a thing where she wanted to sell the house, but she didn't want her sisters to know, or like her father. She's trying to like sign on behalf of her father or something, and wanted to sell the house, and then started getting nervous, or I don't know what her deal was, but we were trying to explain to her, no, look, this is your way out. So she finally was like, okay, yeah, I'll sign it over, and she signs the paperwork, and then we go to like record the deed, I think it was the paperwork, and we're looking at the signatures, and the signatures were gone. She signed the paperwork and disappeared ink.
I remember that.
Oh, wow.
So she just sued us.
I remember that, and I went on Amazon, and looked at the pen, because I had a video of her signing it, and it was actually a disappearing ink pen, they were like $12.
She showed up,
It looked like
two
a
minutes
big-
to
it
close,
was
they
disappearing,
signed it and
it was a big-
disappeared.
And I had a video of her signing it, and we got there.
That's crazy. You outsmarted you guys.
I totally,
She outsmarted.
thank you for bringing that back.
I don't remember her name.
That was, wow.
That was kind of genius.
Evelyn, tell the Judge Judy story.
Oh my
If you
God,
want
I
to.
have like so many stories.
I know.
Make it
I
hurt.
was thinking,
Make it hurt.
well, that one was crazy. That one was my first transaction, doing TC work. And I was hired, and I'm excited but extremely scared, because I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't mess up, I don't want to mess up. And then I go and get fired. And so I didn't get fired for my first TC job, and it had nothing to do with me. The guy was deceiving, I think it was his best friend's mother, and the mother and the daughter was just transferring the deed over. So the mother just got smart. He was like, why is this guy charging us like, it was like $17,000 to make this transaction when we could just do a quick claim deed and just get it done with. Like it probably would have cost him like $50 to just go down to the county clerk and just get it done. But we got fired because she was catching on to what he was doing. And then like maybe like 3 months later, we got called by the attorney, and actually, was it the attorney?
No, it was
No,
the
no.
Florida Real Estate Board.
Yes.
Investigations
You
Bureau.
know, and they were just like questioning us while we were doing it, and then it was like, hey, this case is actually gonna be in Judge Judy, we wondering if you wanna get on the show, but we would never call back, but that was pretty cool. And, you know, just to know that my first transaction, I got hired, and I was gonna get called into Judge Judy, and it was like, this interesting, but, I could keep going on the story.
Yeah, you just cut out all the drama. All the phone calls, the fights, the people yelling at us and blocking us and everything on Facebook and everything. Yeah, it was a
But
lot.
I'm gonna go into a little bit into acquisitions, horror stories. I'm gonna go into two. One was, she had 3 daughters. It was in Patterson, New Jersey, and we were in Chuck's office, and she was so extremely nervous. We were just like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is she so nervous? And she goes and we get all the paperwork signed, and what she did was that she forged her husband's signature on one of the documents, and we didn't notice until we sent in the authorization release form to the bank, and they were like, this is not matching. Who is this? So then I go and be like, hey, what's going on? Where's your husband? I started talking her trash about him, and I was like, okay, so we need to find this guy. And I went into like this FBI mode. I digged and digged. I went into like I knocked at all his properties that he ever lived in Patterson, and I actually found him. He was actually a dirtbag. He didn't care because his three daughters went homeless. Yeah. He's like, I don't care. He was just like completely, I don't care mode. I don't care. And that just actually really broke my heart, but it just like broke my heart, and like, you know, it just hearing like you don't care about your whole family going, you know, going homeless, but then also like fuck, I did all this work for nothing. Like, it's just like, I feel like, I don't know, like, maybe 6 months going after this guy. So that was one interesting story. Keep going, but.
I got another one I just remembered with Evelyn. Does anybody remember the guy that was driving the school bus with like multiple DWIs on Route 80, and did like a U-turn, a bunch of kids like died in front of us? That was like the first house that I bought with Evelyn.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of the guy, and like his driver's license and everything. And we went to go knock on the door, and the people downstairs opened it, and they're like, oh, we thought you all crackers was the video.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. That guy actually did in his property, so it could actually happen. But it was still a hustle. I did call, I did text, I did postcards, I knocked on his door, and he finally one day just gave me a call. Actually, the reason why he actually called me was because I called his ex-wife. And he was like, you call my ex-wife, you really want my house. He was like, come today or you're not gonna have it. So I went and meet, I live in Brooklyn, guys. So I rushed, I went there by myself and he gave me the company, he gave me his house. He's just like, yeah, move it to Maryland, here you go. And he gave me it.
Wow.
That was, I don't think that was the first house I put on contract, but I think that was the first house that I put on contract by myself. I think that was the first one by myself, yeah.
I got another interesting one with Holly too that I never gave the conclusion of. One in Bayonne with a crazy woman who kept telling us that she did not kill her husband. Remember pretty vividly, right?
Yeah. Oh, do you remember that?
We got the house sold. We signed our side by closing documents. It was subject to, she filed bankruptcy. Pandemic hit, she lived for free for like 5 more years. Holly came over, signed the rest of it. We got it closed. They seized all the proceeds, and now she's under investigation for killing her husband. It turned out she was a real estate paralegal. She knew exactly what she was doing. So, still waiting for it to unfold. Yeah.
The one in
You gotta see some interesting shit.
that had her dead cat on top of the bed.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
That picture.
I didn't get it on the contract for that cat. Freaking nuts.
Yeah, cat, that cat.
Yes. She had a couple cats in the household. My baby is, it's dead. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's some weird shit out there.
Weird.
Any more horror stories if we end this on a high note? Dead cats are a high note, yeah. This is my social life. Let's not get into that right now. All right. What's the best thing each one of you guys got going on in your business? What's your unique niche? How do you find it? What are you focusing on?
Okay, so I think of always the student, never the teacher. I am constantly trying to learn all of the new financing options, the DSCRs, the hard money loans, the full docs, the non-QMs, the I-2 loans, the P&L loans, the business bank statements, because everything that I'm learning, I want to share. I want to share. I really have this desire. I wish that these sorts of events existed when I was 21. Or maybe I didn't find you, Chuck. Where were you?
Now that you're 22.
Now I'm 22. No.
Everyone's 23, Holly's 18.
Yeah. So I think really just educating. I told you guys I educate through my Instagram platform, Lorraine and Vicky, and then just using all of these loan programs to keep leveraging my real estate portfolio. Trust me, guys, I don't even consider myself a big-time real estate investor. I don't know it all. I'm still learning and growing, but it's just educating yourself, asking questions, not even the right questions, just asking questions. How do I do this? 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 It's just adopting that mindset really gets you where you want to go. So I think it's just to me right now. I'm not a fix and flipper, really. I have not done fix and flip, but I'm property number 4, and looking to leverage these loan programs to go on, property number 5. So just really getting creative. This year's all about getting creative for me.
Yeah, you're pretty well spoken too. I kind of want to put you on the phones and see what you can do.
Nice, okay.
What do you think, Mike? What are we focusing on, Evelyn? Best thing we got going on. Aside from Damien, best thing you got going on.
Just growing my business, a year and 2 months, I think, well, my business is Anchor Properties, which is acquisitions, and then I did a DBA with ITC, and that's been going for about a year and 2 months. My niche is just subject to. I've closed over 100 in that 1 year. We've done a lot of seller financing, we did a mobile, well, I don't know, you guys know what that is. A mortgage method, because I never paid mortgage student. So I did one of those and did a couple of innovations. And one thing that I did have learned is that each transaction is like a snowflake. It's so unique. Every transaction, there's not been one transaction that's exactly the same like the other one. The seller is different, the buyer is different, the whatever the mortgage, maybe it's just, we have to hurry up because it's going up to auction. And it's just completely all different, and it's just amazing. If you want to be a transaction coordinator, you have to be able to just be an overcomer of solutions. And you have to have the solutions all the time. You cannot get stuck. If you get stuck, this is really not for you. Yeah.
I want to add one thing actually. So I actually wanted to share this. This year I really focused on attending the auctions, and I think it's a good way to get your feet wet. It's a good way to find off-market listings and connect with investors. It's a good way to see action happen live in person. Tuesdays is Newark auctions. Wednesdays are, what's Wednesdays? It's not, is Union. Is it Union? It's in Roselle. Wednesdays are Roselle. Union. Thursdays are Jersey City and Somerset, and then Fridays is Bergen County auctions. It's in Hackensack. So I think this is the number one thing that I really focused on this year, guys, just attend auctions. Like, you will buy with so many investors, with wholesalers, you'll see action happen in person. So go into each county's website and find out the auction dates, and you can call them directly and say, hey, is the auction happening today? Because some of them are bi-weekly, others are weekly. So I don't know, are any of the auctions happening Mondays? Do you guys know? No, right? No, nothing happening Mondays. I know Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays, Newark's, that would be Essex County. Wednesdays is Union. Thursdays, like I said, is Hudson and Somerset, and then Fridays are Bergen County.
The auctions are for the towns or for counties?
Counties.
Is it in one place, or is it like at the
Different
house?
locations. Every county holds them in different locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck?
Yeah, they're usually at the city halls of every, that specific location. But honestly, number one thing I did for my business this year, I get to connect with so many investors. Yeah.
Scott, you have a question?
Just a
Yeah,
comment.
absolutely. It's, oh, you can't see it. It's LLERENAVICKY. So, yeah.
Okay.
If you follow the commercial market much, recently CoStar, which owns LoopNet, which you might look for commercial properties, recently bought an auction platform called 10X. And it's pretty good. And I've seen small office buildings, decent ones throughout New Jersey, have been coming up on that. And if you're, yeah, .com. No, 10X, just write 10X CoStar, and you'll go to the site. It might be 10-X, something like that. And it's a nice platform, and you can find stuff, and they'll tell you if it's bankruptcy or if it's just private seller. It may or may not have a reserve, and maybe an opportunity to sell.
Scott, you got my number. Okay.
We'll have to talk about what you like. There's auctions every day, right?
Any below market deal, commercial building.
Low market could be, or it could go for market price. It's an auction, depends.
And for me, I kind of spoke to it. I'm focused more, like my niche is more multifamily. I've always been about scaling, so I literally started like with door knocking, then, you know, I even tried like wholesaling, I tried everything and just like kind of just found a niche where it's like, I did the fix and flips, the single family homes, and then just scaling that larger to multifamily. Like you said, a couple of you in the room were like, where can I start? Like multifamily is no different than a single family home. Realistically, you just have two. And you know, you can scale that to 4, to 6, to 10. So it's the same process, it's just larger. So that's kind of where I'm trying to grow my portfolio with larger scale units, and then focusing, again, like I said, just growing my coaching business.
Fantastic. All right. Can we open the floor to some questions? Who's got one? Emily. Adrian, you got the mic?
Not really.
Yo. And we have everybody's question that's written down, because we don't answer it now, we're gonna make videos later. And you don't get to use all the videos we made. I'm just kidding. So you don't get to leave until we make a video answering each question. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Emily, you got a question?
Yeah.
Stand up.
So for Evelyn,
Is that a
just because I
microphone?
thought of it while you were talking, not that I want to do it, but are you getting paid out of the deal value or is it a fix for being GC?
Yes, I know a lot of TCs in my community, and I'm.
Maybe I used the wrong word.
No. So we all have different, models of how they're gonna charge, but I'm more of an a la carte type of TC. So if you go to my website, you're gonna see like 5 different ways of how to close this up to, transaction. So you have to pick and choose. But my range goes from 500 to 3,500, so with that, and I require 50% deposit, non-refundable.
People hire you so you can handle such a bad time.
So, yes.
I love it. I love it. Love it, love it.
Brandon, take it away.
It looks like there's like a lot of experience and a lot of variety, like commercial, transaction coordinator, mortgages. I'm in like the trenches, like the lower level, calling these people. So what do you guys think?
We're not long ago, it was
Yeah,
2017 and 2019.
Exactly, so I wanna know from like those types to now, what's the best like acquisition strategy, or like what is your opinion on like mailers, calling, like there's so many different ways. When you said door knocking, like what do you think is the best?
Since I've been there and I've done it all, I would say door knocking would be your best way to get your first deal. A lot of people are cold calling, a lot of people are texting, doing mailers and all that stuff. It's not as personal as knocking on that person's door. Don't think that you're the only person that's knocking on that person's door either. So you have to have like, I'm gonna give you a couple of my secrets. Your guy, so bring a pretty lady with you. That's one. Or
It doesn't work by yourself, I've tried it, they just slam the door and put out all your money.
No, that's a good idea, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
Bring it, babe.
I was just gonna say that. The number one way we got into people's door is because when I was doing door knocking, I was doing it with my cousin and she had twin boys. And nobody really wanted to babysit twin boys, so we always had to take them with us. But that gave us such leverage to just go inside the door. There was one lady that she just opened it, she didn't even ask who we were, she just let us in. We were sitting in the
Because of the
living room.
babies?
Yeah, because of the babies.
And you go to the door and say, what, like, hey,
She
like,
just
let me get your house?
She just let us in and we were sitting on there and she was like, hi, so are you here to see my daughter? And I was like, no, I'm here to see the homeowner. I'm here because I noticed that the house is in for people. She's like, oh, and she got all nervous, but then we, calmed down and she was Hispanic, she was Dominican, so I think she just thought that we was just like friends. I don't know. But she never said, so kids is definitely game changer in your door knocking. If you're gonna go door knocking. I definitely it's a big secret. You remember Jim, right? Jim Mooney?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like as tall as you and he was as big as you.
Maybe
He
better
got,
looking.
yeah. Yeah, he got attacked, like, so if you're a guy, don't knock him out, he got attacked, physically attacked, and I was with him, so just step back when they opening that door, because you never know who's coming out, and like I said, then you're not the only one knocking, so they are really so frustrated with, everybody that's knocking on the door, calling and texting, and they just very overwhelmed, so just be careful.
Life for the sauce.
But I'm pretty sure if I had my little boys with me, I would get it. So kids are definitely go to ticket.
And I would say, don't knock on the door and be like, hi, I'm here to buy your house, like, you wanna try and have a conversation with them. It's more personal, like, you don't really give away really the reason why you're there. So just just act like it's a regular conversation, just build a relationship. People are more likely to connect with you on some level and then invite you into their house.
Yeah, just get in first, right, and then
I would always leave a Post-it, but I wouldn't say that I had Post-its in my car. I literally had the zip code list with addresses, and I made sure, and that's a good, I made sure, I must have 50 houses at a time, just going house to house, and I would leave a Post-it on the door, and I would just say something like, I don't even remember specifically, but I even wrote please call me David. And then I wrote my number. I didn't say why, because you're more likely to get a call back. You don't
the
say why.
curiosity.
Yeah.
I remember your list too, about it, hardcore.
A lot of people do that, that Post-it thing, but I think it's overpaid because another investor that comes and then they come in right after you.
Take it off.
I rip it off. I've done that. It was all through Bergen County. I was all over Bergen County and Patterson, New Jersey, definitely was my playground, Patterson, New Jersey. But I saw anything that has to do with an investor, especially those posters, it was gone by me. 100%, I'm sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. So, but what I did do is I always try to make sure that my contact information was inside that door. Inside that door, inside that window, inside that car, whatever it is, that's what I would try to do.
So you put
To make
Post-it on
sure.
their window.
I would try to stuff that stuff under the door, window, whatever, anything to get it inside so nobody else could get it.
I'll
Because that's the
ask
homeowner.
you, but I don't do wholesaling, but what's the average conversion? Like how many knocking doors a week, how many phone calls a week until you see a 10% conversion on that, or 5% conversion, like?
How many thousands?
That is a great question.
I remember taking pictures of my wall
Yeah. I mean,
I
don't know, we didn't have the software that we have now, we just have
Yeah.
paper.
Oh, yeah, no, they were paper addresses from floor to ceiling that
If you could
of
attract-
houses that
If you
came
could attract
because
holidays,
of my Post-it.
she would have made like the leaderboards, those horrible. And she the one thing I could say about like Holly and everyone is they kind of just cut off their options. This was it. Like blinders on, they were about it.
It's more, it's like the more you have to, it's kind of like I spoke to people about cold calling, you have to have tough skin and you have to just keep going. You have to have the drive to keep going. Because the more houses you hit, the more you're going, the more no's that, you hear that all the time. The more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes.
How did you not get discouraged? How did you guys not get discouraged?
You start to see results. If you focus, well, for me personally, if I did 50, I was seeing results. I saw results come in, and that's more motivating for me because I'm like, okay, I did that, so maybe I need to tweak what I say if I'm calling them, or maybe then I would learn, maybe I need to tweak my conversation with them. And I kind of just remembered what I said to certain people that got me in the door.
How to stay positive, that is a really good one, because it's hard. I didn't, leave the real estate game because I found something else. And thank God for Davian, to bring transaction coordination to me. I didn't know what that was because I used to always do all my paperwork. I was always super organized. But to be honest, the acquisition, especially with I went so off. I started doing the taxing, and then the regulations of taxing came in, and it was just it was not working. I just didn't know what else to do. If you fall out of love of acquisition, there's always something else in real estate. You just have to find what your passion and what you love. Acquisition is not everything. I know that's where a lot of people start, but if you do start feeling like you don't want to do this anymore, there's always something else in real estate. It's I don't even know, maybe 100 different ways of making money in real estate. Just find what you find, find the passion for.
Yeah. They're like indirect, they like abuse.
Yeah.
There's like abuse. Like I think you would get off sometimes, like being low, rejected, pick yourself up and just go back at it.
Yeah. Finding ways to make money. I mean, if you bring a commercial broker a deal to finance, that deal came through you, the average commercial broker will pay you 1% of the loan amount. That's all you have to do is bring the deal. That's it. Yeah. Bring the deal. So many ways to make money.
How did you guys go about picking your markets? Like you said Bloomfield, you said Patterson, right? Like, was it just, how do you pick that one market and kind of go all in on it?
Crazy journey, so how I got to where I'm going. From New York. I lived in Parksville, and it was just, I don't know, I guess I always lived in a rich neighborhood, and wherever I was in Bayside. Every time I used to go to the gas station, it was always like, BMW, Mercedes, and all that stuff, and I had full focus. So I didn't feel comfortable, I just didn't have the right mindset to be door knocking in Parksville. I did go put my postcard in Brooklyn, like in Canarsie, and I was just not feeling it. I really wasn't. So I was like, where am I gonna go? So I had family members in Newark. I went to Newark, and I still wasn't feeling it. I was like, this is not for me. So my cousin said, let's go to Patterson, because that's where her twin father lives. So she was like, oh, maybe he could take care of it, but that didn't happen because he never wanted, he was another dirt bag. So we always had to take the twins with us. So that's how I picked Patterson, and I stood there for a very long time. But I did Bergen County because it was just the closest to just me getting into like the George Washington and just going back home. So I did like that whole triangle. I worked in the Bronx. I was like from Brooklyn to the Bronx to Jersey back to Brooklyn. I did that whole triangle for a while, but that's how I picked my market, which is Patterson.
And then were you targeting like a particular group, like pre-foreclosures?
Pre-foreclosures all the way. I love them. I love pre-foreclosures. There's tons of different ways you can structure a pre-foreclosure, and just helping a family out and just doing that is just, that was my thing. I wanted to help people. Still want to help people.
We started everybody in pre-foreclosures because motivation comes from desperation, and that impending doom of everything else.
But it's also to give you like, that's how I pick my market. But the best market is where you live. Because if I had the right mindset and I was going after these brownstones, $1 million properties, could you just imagine where I would have retired? Yeah, So your mindset is super important, and also pick where you live because it's just like, it would be so much easier. Just knock on, your neighbors, and they're gonna know who you are, and they're like, ooh, this person, she just knocked on my door. She's looking to buy a property. She lives like down the block. She'll go after her. Like, just pick where you live. I think that's the best way to pick your market. Just the way you live.
Sure. Really quick, I didn't do this. I wish I would have learned. I wish I would have discovered this tool when I purchased my Airbnb in Orlando. There's a website called airdna.co, not .com, .co. It allows you to analyze the deals, compare the market that you're interested in, run, the average nightly rate, the seasonality, and it actually grades the property, I believe, from A through D. So I wish I would have discovered this tool when I purchased my first Airbnb, but it is a fantastic tool, airdna.co.
Expensive.
How much is it now?
It's like 400 a month or something like that.
Wow, seriously, a month?
Yeah.
I don't remember it being that. Yeah.
It's with the home experience, and if you pick your city, then
So my question is, as somebody who's new in the industry, how did each of you get out of your shells if you were kind of shy or not
I made her ask that question.
Everyone just hands the mic, that's cheating.
I mean, for me, it's funny, like, I'm natural, like, I was a shy little girl, like, growing up, I wouldn't talk to anybody. Like, I was that person. I think just putting yourself out there and doing it, and then you finally, it's confidence, right? So, you put yourself out, like, everyone's afraid, like, even like picking a market, right? You don't wanna pick a market because it's like a rich area, and you're like, oh, they might not be as open because they're gonna just shoo me away. It's not necessarily true, I can see why. But, it's easy, it's easier to talk to people that are like you, from wherever you came from, whatever your situation is. But I think it's just putting yourself out there and like really just going and doing, and then you'll gain the confidence because you'll see that people are more receptive. They're just going to accept you and be fine, and you get out there and do your thing.
I have a little tip for you, because I am up here and I'm talking like very free and open. But I'm not like that everywhere I go. I'm really, really, really shy. I don't do well in networking meetings with like hundreds and people in the room. So what I did, I found someone that balanced me, and that was Damien. Damien could just talk to anyone, and I was like, how did you do that? It's like, how did you just say hello to every single person in the room? I was just like, that's just crazy. So I found someone that helped me, just network. But to go off a little bit about how is that confidence? Confidence is actually a skill, and skills are learnable. You could learn how to be confident. Just keep going out there every single day. You will feel confident. Keep going.
Become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, 100%.
Stephanie, if I take one of those personality tests, I'm interested.
I was just in, I just came back from Phoenix on Saturday, and I went up, I think it was like 200 people in that room. I think that was the most I ever went up, and I went up on stage. My heart was beating like 1,000,000 miles a beat. I thought I was gonna just die. But the reason why I went up there is because I wanted to build my confidence. I do it every single time. I just want to keep building.
It's the bungee jump experience.
Exactly. Go bungee jumping.
Or skydiving.
I've done that. I've done skydiving. But bungee jumping is completely different. Really.
Alright, so I actually have a question. How do you guys transition from like working your 9-to-5 job into being like full-time investor? And I believe you guys are also like mothers, and you guys are like very empowering. So how do you guys deal with all that situation? And then also with like mental health also on top of that, because it's really hard when you're like in business and you're having consistent like failures back and forth. How do you guys just pick yourself up and just keep moving forward and stay positive? Like, what exactly do you guys really do?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't do yoga.
She said don't?
I don't. I don't meditate. A lot of people say, yeah, I'm not meditating, keep yourself balanced. No, I don't do that. So our transition out of my W-2 job, I was a property manager for a long time, maybe 21 years. But right now, I still have a W-2 job. My W-2 job is to take care of my mom. My mom has early dementia, so I just stay home with her, and that's how I'm able to do my my company full time. So not I can't leave her. It's still, it's still a job. I can't leave her. But it's more comfortable for me. So that's how I transition, and hopefully one day I'll be able to have someone be over and I can just fly around the world and just chill. That's one of my dreams. Go bungee jumping around the world. How do I stay motivated and balanced? Definitely keeping the right people around me. I think everyone has the ability to notice who's negative, and not everybody's for everybody. 100%. You feel that energy. Keep those people away from you. Nothing wrong with them. They're just not for you. You just gotta find the right people. 100%.
I mean, I don't work the 9 to 5, but when I think about, our time, our time is everything. Like your time is everything. Your time is everything. So what I realized, whether I was a 9 to 5 worker, whether I was an entrepreneur, whether I was transitioning into a different role, is, if my time is everything, how do I minimize my time where I'm able to invest less time in this one thing, but also give my time to other things? And what I realized, it comes down to just partnerships. Guys, don't be afraid to partner with people. If you want to start a wholesaling business, partner with someone that has an existing wholesaling system. Learn. You're not putting together the systems, you're not starting from scratch, you're not having to watch a million YouTube videos to learn the game of wholesaling. Partner up. So I think it's one of the things that I had to learn to let go, that I cannot do everything. I can't. Your time is valuable. You want to dedicate time to family on the weekends and your kids, and you want to, dedicate time to your business, and you want to dedicate time to your wholesaling. Partner. Find the right partners in place. And it may be seasonal where you're just learning from them, but I'm going to let you know right now from experience, it's going to save you a whole lot of time.
Can I interject something here?
Yeah.
And Ebony, in order to make progress, I've watched them go off balance. You have to. It's like walking. It's like you lift the foot up and you fall forward and catch yourself. Take a couple risks. Yeah. Don't worry about balance. Worry about progress.
Yeah.
Forward motion.
Note it in my brain. Don't worry about balance. Progress. I like that. Thank you.
Trust me. So that's yes. Louis, let's hear it.
So these questions are probably more for Evelyn. What does it mean to be a TC? Like, is it like you take over the full deal? Do you help like the buyer and the seller to coordinate just the paperwork?
Great question, because a lot of people ask me that, like, what exactly do you do? I don't understand. So I simply just call myself the escrow expediter. If you need to close a substitute transaction within 2-3 weeks, I am your person. I will get that thing done. But what we really are is the communicators between your attorney, the title company, the inspectors, the buyers, seller, wholesaling, your private money lenders, your lenders. We communicate with everyone to just make sure that transaction is getting closed. So that's like the number one thing we do. Yes, we have hundreds of legal documents that we could give you to get this transaction done. We are not attorneys, so we cannot fill out any of these legal documents, but I know how to read a document very well to protect you. That's one of the skills of like the transaction coordinator. Also, we just know all the documents that you need to protect yourself, especially with subject to. Yeah. So I think that's like in a nutshell.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
that was just like a nutshell.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but also like it's good for people when they're doing their first deal, and they say like, hey, I've never done this before. Okay.
Yeah,
they say like, oh, I've never done this type of transaction before, and a lot of people will be like, hey, I'll JV with you for half the deal. Like with a transaction coordinator, you don't have to give away half the deal. You're the primary, and we're there, like working the deal with you on your side, right? And there's gonna be questions that you'll come up with, like say you find like a weird lien where there wasn't a mortgage satisfaction from 1988. Like, since I've been in the industry for so long, I'm like, oh, that's normal. That happened a lot in the early 2000s. And then there's like, yeah, you just have to look for the old paperwork, just call the bank, and this was it. Or if you come up with a lien, a mechanic's lien, you know, sometimes people freak out. They're like, I can't buy it. But no, you know, we could say, hey, you know, there's many ways to do it. You just buy the house with the lien and then call up the guy and negotiate it off after. Tell him that you're gonna own the house for the next 30 years and give it to your son. How about removing the lien for like, you know, $1,000, you know, and the lien might be 10,000. So stuff like that, we bring in the experience and we partner with you. And, you know, you're paying us maybe like for a typical subject to deal, could be $700, right? And then if we do it with a trust, it's $900. So imagine, you know, going the TC route and saving that JV on your first deal, like where you're giving up like 50% of the deal. Like that's where most of our customers are, right? And then secondly, a lot of our customers, or second type of customer we have is like the ones that are doing a lot of deals and they just need to offload like all the TC work. So they're like, yep, we got under contract and, you know, start the TC work now. And then they just go into looking for more deals. So it like takes like all that paperwork headache out of their business. And we actually have our biggest client, they do like 5 deals a month, and we actually go into their systems and everything too. You know, we use our system of course, but we actually go into theirs and we're very integrated with their system. But you know, they just like are like laser focused on acquisitions. So yeah.
Just remember this phrase.
I have a question.
You write small checks to cash big checks.
Yeah.
They're a small check. Think about
That's
how
a
much
great
time they take off of your hands.
Yeah.
Same thing with realtors using a transaction coordinator. They take the work off your hands. Like, does it really make you money to go and do all this stuff? No. So think about all the time you get back to go out and get more deals.
Yeah.
That $700 makes you more money.
I have a question.
Yeah, that's great.
Damien,
Damien.
For me?
Pay me later.
yeah. Did anybody ever tell you you sound like Matt Damon from the department?
I see how all the time. I used to be called Matt Damien. Actually,
Just curious.
Yeah.
Pick up on that.
Yeah, we lost.
We got time for a lightning round real quick?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, we do. Well, we have one more question right here, and then lightning round.
Well, it was just to ask you ladies, could you say the names of your businesses again so that we can, because I know Vicki, you mentioned something about you have an investors list in your.
They can't, and we're gonna usher them out that door, so you can't speak to them after either. There's no network.
I thought about it, but I said everybody's gonna be asking them questions, so I might as well just ask through the mic.
Very successful.
I mean, so my business is my brand, my name, regardless of what broker I work for or bank. So best way to reach me is on Instagram at Vicki Lorena. Shoot me a DM with your email and your phone number and the areas that interest you as an investor, and I'll add you to my investor list. And if it's financing related as well, we'll set up a call.
So my business is Anchor Light TC. We are your anchor and your light on your transaction. Anchor Light TC.
And I'm sorry, but Evelyn, you don't coach somebody through the negotiation process for a sub-2, obviously. They have to come to you with a contract, you know.
Yes, a lot of people want to come to us and pick our brains on how to structure the deal. And just unfortunately, like you cannot do everything, we cannot do everything as well. And that's why we focus on one part of the business and help you scale your business. But yes, you have to bring the contract to us.
And my company is Peace of Mind Property, but you can find me on Instagram. It's the_Holly_hustle. And you can DM me too with your emails. I can reach out to you. It's just the_Holly_hustle.
And I just posted a picture in the Facebook group tagging all the profiles, so you can get there too.
Thank
Gotcha.
you. On my Facebook too. Yeah, Holly Megan.
My name Ryan.
Sweet. All right,
Any more questions? Omar?
Any more questions? No? All right, a few questions that people were too shy to ask. Emma wants to know, how many times can you file a foreclosure adjournment in New Jersey?
4.
Foreclosure, oh, 4?
Yes, you got 3, and then you have like this crazy emergency, that you have to go see the judge, and you let it go. 4, I believe, unless they changed it.
4.
How many times you could do an adjournment?
3. I wanna say 3. 3.
It's 3 and then 1 crazy, you have to see
Two
the judge.
extensions
I
and
did
urgent
it.
motion. I think we have one.
I've done it. I did 3 adjournment, and then the last one is like, you have to present it to the judge.
Did you bring the twins with you?
That's funny, no. I don't know, maybe it changed, it's been years.
What are you referring to as twins?
Yeah. Oh, you get, all right. When prospecting, what lists should I target? A lot wants to know.
Pick up that question.
I
What am I gonna
would
answer?
do foreclosure, divorce, bankruptcy. Stuff like that. I wanna learn how to do a substitute reverse mortgage.
I got you. Find me one.
Yes, we always had one. Remember that guy?
Train Howard inside of one.
You what?
Train Howard inside of one. We still have it.
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing, like the pre-foreclosure list, you have like a good lawyer friend, divorce lawyers. They need to sell their homes.
Bankruptcy attorneys.
Yep. Title companies.
All right. What are the best indicators for choosing a market? Vidi wants to know.
Rent's gone up. Rent's gone up.
Job growth.
Job growth. People moving to.
I mean,
Amazon.
That's fair.
Things to do, quality of life, right?
Just pick one and go.
I think they answered it when we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just buy a property with cash flowing, I really don't care what it's at.
So do you guys care about appreciation or is it just strictly cash flow?
There are buyers that they just buy property for the depreciation, but no, I buy it more for cash flow.
I thought
It's also hard to cash flow with the interest rates being high. So
well now.
a lot of investors are also looking, when they speak with them, long-term growth, equity growth in the property. You may not immediately cash flow. You may just be breaking even.
Correct.
Where interest rates are today, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't let that scare you. Because long-term game plan, property's gonna pick up in equity.
But with Jersey, it's also harder here to cash flow with interest rates being high, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
remember this too, right? So there's 4 ways of making money on a property, right? So one is rent roll, right? So the second one is appreciation, the third one is principal reduction, and the fourth one, which is always overlooked by most people, is your taxes, right? You get to depreciate your property, you get to write things off. So if you're breaking even, rates are going to go down at some point. Like I did a cash out refi for somebody 2.5 years ago at 4.25. Right now, he's like 7 to 8, somewhere in that range. Rates will go back down again. It's all cyclical.
Yeah.
They're not like this. The national average, it always goes up and down. So as long as you're gonna break even, but you're gonna appreciate, like, what's the average rate of appreciation? Anywhere between 3 to 10%, depending on what market you're in. You're gonna make money on the house long term.
Sweet. What are the most pivotal steps for pushing a seller for an appointment?
Goodness. For an appointment?
Yeah.
How
So
to
the stress
book
level
that
for an appointment.
appointment?
Wins.
Listening. You have to listen. You have to learn how to listen, especially, you're probably gonna get these like old people too. Be patient with them and just listen. And when you go to a foreclosure, that's gonna be like one of the saddest things you're gonna see is like when these elderly people go into these situations. But just listen. I think that's the best way to get that appointment. I don't know any other strategy because you can't really make anybody do something new. I don't know.
Listen to old ugly people.
Old. Just listen, yeah.
Man, that's it.
Thank you.
That's it, it was only it's like, that's only, index cards? That's it?
Yeah, all the other
We
ones.
had a lot
are
of
answered.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Does
was.
anybody else have any questions? Brad, you look like you do.
No, I'm straight. Wanna knock on doors.
Emma?
Yeah, need to find a girl or a kid?
Outside of door
Now's
knocking,
the time, Stephanie, ask you. Stand up.
not, outside of door knocking, what was the other,
Yeah, you touch them and see if they're real.
Oh.
outside of door knocking, what was the other mode of reaching to sellers that's worked well for you?
I went to networking events and got on a ton of wholesale lists. And then I would also say, if you're not a numbers person and you don't like math, that's fine, but understand the deal. Like if you have a deal, like the worst thing to do is go, like partner with someone that knows what they're doing and has the experience, but don't bring them a deal that's not a deal. That's very frustrating, like at least have the concept, understanding of maybe this is a good deal, obviously when you're doing foreclosures, but a lot of the time you can get very creative and it's typically a good deal. Especially door knocking and stuff like that, but yeah, wholesaler lists, that's kind of how I pretty much
Louis.
I honestly wish I didn't go into like the YouTube university and just looking at what everybody else was doing, because I went into that rabbit hole of buying a whole bunch of systems and getting VAs and all of this stuff. Like I went down that hole. It works, but then you have to have a huge pocket to make it work. Because you have to send out not 100, 1,000, 10,000 texts to make it work. So one of the things that I wish I would have stayed with door knocking, but then COVID hit and we couldn't go anywhere. So it really, that hit me hard. But those little cute personal letters really worked very well for me. And those unique stamps.
So what would you put on the personal letter?
It was really and hi, I'm just Evelyn, I'm looking into moving into New Jersey. I am from Brooklyn, New York. Yes.
Oh, you're buying it.
You wanna buy it?
I'm buying it for myself, and it was just very personal.
And that was like the highest.
And you know what I did? I bought this package from the 99-cent store, a little stationery, and I made copies, because I'm not gonna write 100 letters. I made copies. I made sure that it was not like, those the loose leaves, like the lines, because you can't copy those. So I just made copies and I just bought the most cutest stamps. I went to the post office and I said, I want those cute stamps. And it worked.
So the highest conversion was the handwritten.
Handwritten and door
during COVID. Well, after COVID happened, you couldn't door knocking?
Before COVID. Yeah, before COVID, when COVID hit, it hit me, but then I did have that flip that I was going during COVID, so I guess it balanced out, but the acquisition hit me hard.
Yeah, I have a question. In regards to Airbnb, so like I don't have any experience with Airbnb, but I want to buy. One of my goals is like to buy a few Airbnbs in like some cool places like New Orleans and like somewhere in Florida, and just to go away from my family and friends and stuff like that. Is there any way, to meet that goal? Do you suggest a certain path? I don't mind partnering with people and stuff like that. But is there like a certain path to take rather than somebody that's going to do this on a massive scale? Because you're right, it is like a business, and I'm not sure if I want to be managing Airbnbs like all over the country, because I've seen the licensing or the regulations change. Like in Philadelphia, it's like no more Airbnbs, and like New York City, same thing. So I just wanna get like some of these, like 1 or 2, 3, 4, maybe at the max, or 5 or something like that. Do you have any suggestions on that?
I'm gonna go with why.
Why?
Yeah, why do you wanna do that?
Just so
The
I can-
regulations are killing that business, and then it's just
Yeah.
you wanna manage your Airbnb, and it's like almost like flipping a house in New York, and I'm gonna flip a house in Texas.
But if
That's
okay,
I guess that's my personal opinion.
Just
but
book a
Does
trip.
anybody?
it's snowing tomorrow. It's snowing tomorrow. Like I wanna go to the airport and go to Texas, you know?
Freaking, one of those things, timeshare. There you go.
Why don't you just book an Airbnb?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get,
I'm gonna be really quick. I know we're short with time. So the market, the Airbnb market in 2021 was not a realistic market to where we are now in 2024. In 2021, every freaking person could afford to vacation and work from home remotely, and money floating around like crazy. So my Airbnb killed it in 2021. You can manage a property from remote. I'm a living example. I thought that was never ever possible. I was like, this is insane, it's crazy. How can I manage a property out of state? You can do it through the online platforms. It's super easy. All you really need is a good cleaner and a good handyman. Obviously, the websites like Airbnb.co allow you to run comparables, do your comps, do your research, do your due diligence. Where I would focus on, if I were to do this again, it would no longer be Airbnbs. That market's gotten too saturated for me, unless I'm confident that it's like a profitable market. I would really look into midterm rentals, highways, hospitals, and hotels. That's what I'm seeing a lot of the Airbnb investors in 2021 pivot towards, is midterm rentals. It seems to be more profitable, just, you know, and really just my experience managing my first Airbnb, it is like running a hotel. I constantly have to reply to every single person, the code and the lights and the this and that. And so if you're not on top of your customer service skills, then your Airbnb is gonna suffer on Airbnb and Bookings.com and VRBO. So start with one. If you don't like managing it, it is like running a hotel, then you have to outsource that. And you have to give it, 20% off your profits, or maybe Airbnb may not be for you, and just look into midterm rentals.
What is midterm rent?
So, midterm rentals is when you are renting, I wanna say for minimum 3 to 6 months?
90 days.
90 days, right? Minimum 90 days. Traveling nurses, people that have been displaced from their properties and your insurance covers it. It's not a long-term rental told with police, but it's not an Airbnb 1 to 2 night stay, so.
Can I add on to what you said?
Yeah.
So my parents are big into like Section 8. They just left the Section 8 world and switched over to midterm rentals.
How do they like it?
What, Section 8?
Midterm rentals.
Oh, it's
amazing.
they're killing it. So like,
I'm
for
dying to
example-
get into my first midterm rental, so I would not do
I think it's
Airbnb
good.
this year.
Well,
Yeah, I would not.
In New York.
Yeah.
If you think about it for a minute, right, a traveling nurse or an executive, they're gonna treat the place a lot different than somebody who's rented it out for a weekend too. So your costs go down because you don't have, they're not gonna trash the place. So you get a different kind of client.
Like genuinely, like my parents switched from, they did amazing with Section 8. We have a house in the Bronx, we also have one in Queens, and they're fully built out like Section 8.
And they have Facebook groups too for traveling nurses and stuff like that, so you can go in there and advertise your places in there. If you're within a couple of miles of a hospital or mass transit for a hospital, then there you go.
Yeah, hospitals, highways, and hotels, midterm rentals.
They kill it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, it's that time. Closing remarks, ladies.
Guys, closing remarks?
What would you tell somebody who
Don't get
wanted
caught
to get
up in
started?
analysis paralysis. I think it's heard all the time. Just do it. Get into your first flip, get into your first wholesale deal, get into your first Airbnb, get into your first midterm rental. Just do it.
You got a lot of people here that want to get started. What would you tell them, Evelyn?
It's true.
You have the man right there to get started. That's it. You have choice. If you want to get started, shop.
When you're stuck, call
Oh,
Chuck.
shop.
Or me.
I'm not saying that I'm here speaking at this event, it's where I started. It's like, you have a great guy here, to lead you.
Yeah, but you also wanted it.
Huh?
You also wanted it. Not everybody makes it. You wanted it
Yeah,
bad.
you know what, I've done a lot of stuff and I've done a lot of mentorships and I jumped into a lot of things, but a lot of people always ask me, how is that program, how is this, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter, what matters is you, it's you. That's That's my whole
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of just like, just do, like, it says on the door, right? Stop learning, just do, take action. There's a lot of people, they'll go to events and they'll get prepped with their business, they'll buy all these things to get like prepared and, you know, have partners or whatever. Just, if you take action and do it, you'll actually kind of find people when you network.
I always say commit first, figure out everything after.
Like that. It's scary, but it'll put you out there and your feet are to the fire, so you have to perform.
Step
What do
one
you-
for me was
Chuck,
put
what
my
do you-
job.
Chuck, what do you say? Ready, fire, aim?
Ready, fire, aim. I mean, step one for me was put my job, step two was figure it out.
I agree.
Did you guys enjoy this?
Yes.
Yes.
Give them a round of applause. I know there's a couple of you guys in the room that are looking to get started. That'd be probably Jeannie, right? Fatima. I'm gonna invite you guys if you want. This is the modified amended version of what we ran Holly and Evelyn through. You don't have to pound on doors anymore. We got room for 3 people, if you wanna come. It is March 2nd. If you guys wanna come back and help them out and see what we've done, Mike, can we invite them? Yeah, you're welcome to come. Yeah, if you wanna do it, you're welcome to come back.
Okay.
Scan the code. It's $100 till 10 p.m. tonight. It starts at noon. It's half a day of cold calling. AJ's gonna set up a profile for all you guys on our system. We're gonna screen scrape a bunch of list pendants leads. All your calls will be recorded. We'll tell you what to say with the goal of making an appointment, going out into the field and buying a house. You get a deal from that, we partner with you. Congratulations, you got your first deal. How many of you would like to join us?
Could you say that last part again? Chuck?
Which part?
Just that last
The
sentence.
last part, if you get a deal out of this training,
Okay.
we partner with you on the deal. We'll walk you through it. This is our loss leader. This is a form of leverage. We teach you what to do in your backyard. And then when you can do it on your own, we're still friends and we invite you back to be panelists and stuff. Maybe like a year down the road. Gee, you could walk there, you got no excuse.
I know, but I'm actually gonna be in Mexico.
That's
But
okay.
I live
You can do it virtually.
I'm actually taking a workshop.
Want to switch?
You would definitely want to switch.
All right. Any of you that would want to go, now's the time, scan the code. In the meantime, everybody stand up, give the ladies another round of applause. If you have questions, if you want to get more information. Great job. Great job. Great job.
I get some, right?